Hi there, welcome to the Quality Connect YouTube channel. My name is Trevor, and this is Andrew Wellwood, who is the founder of QualityConnect.ca, and we're here to talk about the first steps to a residential infill home. Walt Disney said you can design and create and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality.
According to the city of Edmonton, there were 2,485 starts in the third quarter alone.
Wow.
One of the biggest reasons why I started Quality Connect is I'm a framer by trade, and I got a lot of questions from people building their own homes or building investment homes as to who should I hire, who's the next person, do you know anyone good that I can get to do my roofing or electrical or anything along those lines. And they had very little idea as to the steps and direction that they were going, and they were putting 100% of their trust into trades and people they've never met before and didn't qualify at all.
Wow, so really solving a big problem. So Andrew, can just anyone build a home?
Yes, anyone can build a home. That doesn't mean it's easy or it's something I would recommend for everyone to try themselves. I've seen lawyers, I've seen coke drivers, Purelator drivers. I've seen a lot of different people build their own home and have great success and an amazing end result. I've also seen people with the same background, same education, and pretty much the same line of work crash and burn building it themselves. So yes, anyone can do it, but I would definitely caution you on chancing it yourself.
Okay. So does somebody need to have a construction background or construction experience if they want to build an infill property?
It would definitely help. Having any background or experience in construction would definitely make it an easier project to do. Okay. But that being said, it is a project, and if you have a bit of project management experience, either in your original line of work or as a hobby, all it is managing a project. If you can manage different trades and different aspects of a project and schedule it accordingly and stay on top of it, then managing a home build is just like managing any other project. As long as you're organized and you have a plan ahead of time, then okay. Yes.
Awesome. So what is the hardest part of managing a home build yourself?
It's working with all the different trades and planning it out ahead of time.
I believe that.
Trades are very... how do we word this? Very easy to get along with, some of them, and some of them have very strong and difficult personalities to get along with. That doesn't mean they're not amazing at their job. It just means that they might be a little different than the accountant that you work for or the HR person that you work for. They might be a little rougher around the edges. That's what I would say would be the hardest part. And then you have to stay on top of them, and you have to be on site. If you're managing your home and it's the first time this home has been built, you're going to run into some issues on site. That's not the draft person's fault. That's no one's fault. Big builders run into it when they're doing a model for the first time. And you have to be there on site. You have to be able to answer the questions for the framer, for the plumber, for the electrician, for the heating guy as to how we're going to solve this problem. And you need to either have a great problem solving ability and be on site, or you have to hire someone that can take that on for you.
Awesome. So if you've never built a home before, is hiring a project manager a great idea?
I would say yes. One of the biggest misconceptions about building a home yourself is all I have to do is email off the print, email off the agreed upon price.
Yeah.
Make sure the guy did the job right, send him the check or the e-transfer, and that's it, and then move on to the next trade who you've scheduled through email and phone call after. A lot of people think that's how you build a home, and that never works. That doesn't work for the big guys that have built that model thousands and thousands of times before. You need to be able to be on site to answer questions, make sure everyone's got the right information, they've got the right product, things are going well. So unless you're in a job where you can drop what you're doing and meet a trade on site to answer a question, solve a problem, go through the blueprint, then you're going to need a project manager. You're going to need someone on site that can answer those questions, check the quality, check to make sure the site is ready, check to make sure stuff is done. Otherwise, your build is going to take years because you're going to have to meet those trades either after your work, which is after their work too. They don't want to be there at 7 o'clock at night to go through questions with you, or you have to have a trade that's willing to meet and work on weekends and answer your questions on weekends. So yes, I would recommend hiring a project manager if you can't meet those requirements yourself.
Gotcha. So what is the biggest mistake that people make when building a home?
Scheduling.
Okay.
I would say scheduling and planning ahead. Like you said, if you planning to fail, or failing to plan is planning to fail. So if you've got all of your trades lined up, everything set, a really detailed blueprint, scope of work, what you're doing, things are going to go very smoothly. The problem that a lot of people make is they finish drywall and they say, okay, well, now next is painting, let's go hire a painter. And if it's a busy time, or you're very picky on who you want, you're waiting 2 to 3 weeks for a painter, and then the next step, and then the next step, and your 6 to 8 month build is now hitting a year and a half because you're not scheduling your trades ahead of time, and you're expecting them to be available at the drop of a hat. Good people aren't available at the drop of a hat.
Right, that's good advice. So what requirements does the city have before you can get started building?
This is one of the things with planning ahead that's a very good thing. So there's been a lot of new changes with the city, with anything from fire code to secondary suites, garden suites, whether you can do a skinny house, a duplex, how much site coverage you can have. There's a lot of requirements that the city has, and they're very good at spelling it out on their website. You can call them up, you can stop by, you can ask them all the questions. They're very easy to work with, and they want you to succeed. They want you to be able to build the right house. So getting through all of that is the biggest thing. And if you have all of your information correct, all your engineering, your architectural stuff done, blueprints, all of your requirements from all the different truss manufacturers to stone to precast, everything in line, it's really easy to work with the city, and that's information that all the trades are going to require anyway. So taking shortcuts and trying to scam stuff or slide stuff past the city, at some point a trade's going to need that information, and then you're stuck. So get everything in line, get it to the city. If the city's happy, chances are your trades are going to be happy with that information as well.
Cool. So speaking of subtrades, what should you look for when hiring subtrades?
WCB. You need to check their WCB. If someone gets hurt on site and they don't have WCB, you're on the hook for it. Providing a WCB number before you start work and before paying a trade is an absolute requirement, and it's embarrassing how little it actually happens. I've been framing for over 12 years, and I've been asked by one person for my WCB number.
Wow.
That's it. They didn't ask for the number, they just asked if I had it. They didn't check it. The WC website is very easy. You go on the WC website, it says obtain a clearance letter, type in that company's WCB number, hit submit, and it'll tell you if you have it or not. It's that quick and it's that easy, and it's something that you should have, and any good trade should have a WCB number, and legally they require it. Liability insurance is a good thing to have. I would recommend any of the larger trades have a liability insurance policy in plan. You can go through and you can check references if you want. The problem with checking references is if you go by and you take a look at a house that's been wired that your electrician sent you to, unless you're an electrician, seeing a bunch of wires and boxes might not mean anything to you.
It looks good from here.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, how do you know he even wired that house? I've seen some of my projects on other people's websites as examples of what they've done. It's not uncommon or unheard of to see that. So I would ask to talk to a builder that they've worked for before. I think that's your best reference and your best way of getting an honest response.
Great. Well, that's some great advice I think everybody should definitely listen to. So a question for you, Andrew, is a larger company better to hire than a small independent?
That's a tricky one. As a builder, I've ran into the pros and cons of both of those when working with a smaller company and a larger company. They both have their pros and cons. Smaller companies are usually easier to work with in that you're probably dealing with the owner. The owner is probably wearing coveralls and on your site, so you know you're getting an expert advice. You're not getting a very skilled owner who's sitting in an office sending out some people that don't really know what they're doing. So that's a benefit of working with a smaller company. The problem with the smaller companies is if you want that owner operator to stop by and he's delayed in his last project by a month, he's delayed by a month. There's nothing he can do. He's got to finish his other project before coming on. The benefits of a larger company is they can send a different crew by. If you're ready on the 1st and they don't have the original crew they planned, they'll send a different crew. They also usually have a larger bankroll to accommodate any errors. If someone does make a mistake or there is a big issue, it's not going to sink a larger company to have to turn around, redo all the work they did in your house, warranty it, and keep going. They'll take a loss on the job, but your house will get done right. They've been around for 30 years. They're going to be around for another 30 years. Your project isn't going to sink a larger company. Whereas an independent guy, he might not be able to cover that if he doesn't have the proper liability insurance and the proper WCB coverage or anything like that. It could sink a smaller guy. So those are the pros and cons between the two that I've found.
Awesome. So can one rely on the city inspections to guarantee a quality build?
No. So the city inspection, and this is not a knock on the city. The city, if you look at their officers, is safety codes officers. That's the name of that's their job title. That's their description. That's what it says on all of their cards. Everything. They're safety codes officers. So what they do is they make sure your house was built safely to meet code requirements. If your hallway goes from 5 feet wide down to 3 feet wide, 3 feet is still within code for the width of your hallway, they will pass that. An interior wall, if it's not load bearing and it's tilted over about 5 inches out of level, the city code officer is fine with that because it's not load bearing or structural. It doesn't affect them. If a room's out of square, that doesn't affect them at all. So they're there to make sure it is built safely, and that is it. So as long as they meet those requirements, that's good, and they're very good at that. They're very good at inspecting for safety and safety violations. But if your door opens and your light switches are on the other side of the door, so that's
So what you're saying is you can't really rely on them to do a quality control on your build.
No, they don't do quality control inspections. They make sure when they do their occupancy permit, you've got your safety rails, you've got your shingles. But if your siding is wavy and your driveway is wavy and cracked, it's not a safety issue, so the city isn't concerned about it. You can look at it and think it's the ugliest thing you've seen, but the city is going to say, yeah, it's safe,
So that's where having the project manager helps in a successful build.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So, Andrew, how does QualityConnect help builders with project management and hiring subtrades?
Well, first off, to be on our site, you need to have WCB in place. We check for business license and liability insurance. You will have the ability to check between the different trades on that. It is something that we strongly suggest you verify before hiring the trade. When we do our quality check on the trade, they can have it in place, but liability insurance, like any other sort of insurance, or WCB in those lines, expires, elapses. So it is something that you should check ahead of time. And we put all these quality trades in one place. So for you to get a job quoted or priced as a builder, all you need is a blueprint, or you can go on our site to get one of our amazing designers to design a blueprint for you. Post a project, select everybody you need, and you get access to all of the trades right there. So you should be able to get a job at least sent out for quoting in about half an hour. Whereas other than that, you're either searching Google, you're chatting with your cribber for a good framer, your framer for a good electrician, your electrician for a good plumber, and you're trying to go along the lines of that. Or you're randomly driving around to new construction sites, writing down numbers you see on the side of a van. So we bring them all to one place, and we should be able to save you about 200 man hours of quoting and project management to get your build off and on to go.
That is a huge, huge cost savings and time savings. So Thank you so much, Andrew. It's been fun interviewing you, and if you want to see more from Andrew and Quality Connect, just subscribe to the YouTube channel below, and we'll see you next time.